Hey guys, welcome back to Godkeep, and today I'm going to be trying something a bit different. I'm going to be doing a tier list of all the PLLs, ranking them from the best PLL in S tier, all the way down through A, B, C, and into D tier for the worst PLLs. So jumping straight into it, looks like first we have the AA perm. So this is the A perm where I rotate downwards. I use left-handed finger tricks for A perms. And I think I'm going to drop it into A tier because it's quite a quick out to execute, it's really snappy, you know. But as you're seeing here, I do lock up a bit on it sometimes. And I kind of pause down at the bottom. So my execution is not totally flawless. So it's really quick when I get it right, but I don't always get it right. And for that reason, I might actually drop it down into B tier. Yeah. So the next one is the AB perm. This is where you rotate upwards, like so. And honestly, I hate this PLL. I think it's really bad. I'm pretty slow at it. I just couldn't get to grips with good finger tricks. It's probably going to go D for me. Yeah. Next up is the E perm. So finishing off the corners only PLLs here. E perms I actually quite like. I can execute it pretty quick. Or so I say. Yeah, so usually I can do it pretty quickly, but again I do sometimes lock up and occasionally I get a pop during it. So I think I'll plonk it in A tier because most of the time I get it right, and even if it messes up a little bit, it's not a big deal, and I can always slow down and just be a bit more cautious. Next one we've got here is the F perm, which is quite a nice out to execute. It flows quite smoothly now that I'm doing pinch finger tricks. However, it's not the quickest, and sometimes it's a bit awkward to AUF if you have a U move AUF. So I think I'll put it in B tier along with the AA perm because it's one that I like, but I'm not so quick at. Next up we have one of the G perms. I think this is the GA perm. So this is where you've got the block at the front right, and I quite like this one. This used to be my favourite G perm, and it's currently my second favourite G perm. I think I'll put it in A because I execute it pretty quickly. And it generally goes quite well. Next up we have the GD perm, I believe. And this is not a G perm that I like. I find it quite awkward to execute and pretty slow. And I've just got a pop. But anyway, that is not a nice PLL. C tier, it's not the worst, but it's pretty bad. And the worst G perm for me is this one where the block is at the back, because it's just really awkward to finger trick and you have to regrip unless you use some really wacky finger tricks that I can't quite get my head around. So that's going to have to go into D tier for me. Next up is the GB perm, maybe? I don't really know the correct names for them. It's the one where you've got the block on the right and towards the front, as you can see on screen. And I really like this one actually. This is my favourite G perm. I find it pretty quick to execute and I find it pretty safe. So, and it's really satisfying to AUF if you have U prime because you can go straight into the AUF after. And it's really nice. So I'm going to drop that straight into S tier because I do like that PLL. Next up is H perm. This is also going into S tier because it's just a really easy and fast PLL and I love executing it. Okay, next we have JA perm. So this PLL is not great for me. It's easy to execute and it's pretty not very risky, so I can generally execute it correctly, but it's not very quick. So I'm going to put it into I'll put it in B tier. And I think if I'm putting F and JA in B, then I'm going to have to move AA up to A tier because it is quicker than those two. Next we have JB perm, the J perm that everyone loves. It's a great out, it's really quick to execute, and that's going to go straight into S tier for me. Next up we have the NA perm. So this is the one where you set up to J perm and then sort of undo those setup moves at the end, and it's quickish, however it's quite a long alg, and although it's quite fun to execute and satisfying, it is, as I said, because it's long, it can be a bit slow, so I'm going to put it into B tier. Next up we have the other N perm, NB perm. Oh, S tier. We love this one. We love our NB perm. What a great PLL. No more needs to be said about it. That is going straight down to D tier. What a horrible alg. Next we have got the RA perm. So this is the R perm with the block at the front left. And it's pretty decent. I think I'll put it into B tier because I can execute it about the same speed as F perm probably. And it's a similar alg, quite satisfying to do. Then we've got the RB perm, which I actually prefer. I'll put that in A tier because I find that it flows really nicely from the top and it can be quite satisfying to AUF on. So that's one that I really enjoy executing. Next is T perm, which is another really great alg, so that will go up into S tier, I think. Who doesn't love a T perm? And now we are on to the U perms. So the first is the U perm where you're swapping from right to left, and for me, because I use M moves, that one involves some weird sort of flick finger tricks, which I'm okay at, but when I'm going fast I sometimes lock up on them. So I think I'll put it into A tier because it's a good PLL, but it's not the best. And then also the other U perm will also go to A tier because although it's a bit safer to execute, I also sometimes catch on it, and so I'll put it into A. Okay, coming towards the end now, we have got the V perm. So V perm is a really interesting alg, and I used to detest it. I used to use the horrible one with a rotation, which is not a nice alg at all. And I really recommend, I'll put it in a card on screen right now, going to Dana Yee's video and learning this new V perm, which I now use, which starts the same, but has sort of square one finger tricks at the end, and it's really satisfying to execute and pretty quick. And it's made my V perm go from, it would have been a D tier before, but actually using this alg, I would say it's probably an A tier. So A tier is looking pretty full. I might make some adjustments towards the end. Let's wait and see about that. Anyway, next we have the Y perm, which to be honest I kind of hate. It's pretty slow and my finger tricks for it are not brilliant, so I'll put it in C tier because it's slow and I don't enjoy executing it, but it's not as slow as some of those G and N perms down in D. Finally we have the Z perm or Z perm, which I think is a very nice PLL. It's pretty satisfying and smooth to execute, however it's not as quick as the other edge PLLs, so I would rather have H perm, U perm, either U perm than this. However, it's still better than most, so this probably deserves to go into A tier. And now I'm going to make some adjustments. Right, A tier is very full, so I think I need to bump something up to S tier, maybe two things, and something down to B tier. So let's have a look. Okay, I think the U perm where you're going from left to right can go up into S tier because it is pretty safe to execute and generally pretty easy. And then maybe E perm can drop back down, or no, I reckon the G perm with block at front right can drop down into B tier because although it's a pretty nice alg, it can occasionally lock up. So there is my final tier list, guys, of all the PLLs. I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly did, and yeah, it's quite interesting. So my favourite PLLs are H, G, B, I don't know, G perm with block at right front. So that G perm, H perm, J, B perm, T perm, and UA perm, which is pretty right. I think that's correct. And my worst PLLs are NB, which everyone just despises. It's such a terrible PLL. AB, which maybe is a bit controversial. I just can't execute it well. And finally, the G perm with the block at the back because it's just really slow and awkward. And that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tier list. If you want to see more videos like this, then make sure to tell me in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.